Ferretti Group's big news here at Cannes is this, the new Infynito 80, the not so little sister to the Infynito 90. It has a lot of the same cues, the all-season terrace forward, fast displacement hull, and this lovely all-connected main deck. It's going up against the likes of the Princess X80 and Sunseeker's Ocean 156. Let's give it a full tour and see what it has to offer. I'm Jack Haines, welcome to YachtBuyer. Before we get going though, if you haven't done already, please subscribe to the YachtBuyer channel. It really helps us out. We'd appreciate it. So hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, and you'll be notified every time we upload a new tour. Right, let's get on with this one. Okay, let's start down here right at the back where we have, as expected, a hydraulic bathing platform. However, it isn't full width, so when it drops down, it leaves you this little section here that's still up at deck level. Obviously it connects up to this area as well. And the passerelle is here too. So this is how you connect up to higher quaysides with this cassette passerelle underneath my feet. This is a nice area, this sofa that faces aft over the water with the platform drop down. You should have that connection to the sea that everybody wants these days. Incidentally, this opens up. It's not a tender garage, but it is a big storage space. They've got all the cleaning gear in there, but you can put water toys in there, things like that, and it's all very close to the area where you're going to want to use them. This is a nice feature as well, a proper overhead shower rather than just a deck shower. That's lovely when you come out after a swim. And then the way that this gradually goes up into the higher part of the cockpit is, we have this on the Infynito 90 as well. It works just as well as the 80. So let's head up there and have a closer look. Heading to the cockpit space, at the moment this is a lounging area. They don't have plans currently for it to be a dining space as well. I'm sure if it was a deal breaker for you, then they would do it. But really dining is for the Flybridge, as we'll see in a moment. This is just a relaxation area. As I've said, it connects really well to that lower part of the aft end, and it's nice and protected as well. If you don't want to be in the blazing sun, you have this nice overhang supported by these struts here, and all of this black metalwork looks really, really smart. Contrasts beautifully with what is reconstituted teak with white caulking underneath. Over on the port side, you have a sink and an ice maker, hides away under this nice teak lid. I really like the way the teak contrasts with all the black mouldings, the black fiberglass around here. It looks absolutely lovely, typically stylish furniture. It is dripping with style, this boat. The interior is beautiful, so do hold on and watch as we get into that section. Just something else to point down here. This is your third docking station. So there's a Flybridge helm, there's a raised pilot house design, and then you have both throttles and you have your bow and stern thruster here as well. So if you're mooring stern too, the skipper couldn't be in a better position. Let's head forward and have a look at that all-season terrace. The main deck is symmetrical, so you have equal sized decks on either side, but on the port side is where you have access to the crew space and the engine room through there as well. We're going to look at that towards the end of the tour. We'll carry on forward here where we have another Infynito styling queue. This section here, we have the glass built into this upright, and then this is quite interesting how this coverage just sort of appears and gives you a bit of protection as you get towards this all-season terrace, and that sets the tone for this area. They call it all-season. Well, we're trying it out today. It is blowing a hoolie in Cannes. It's a little bit cold, but you have the coverage up here. That's the whole point. You can't currently enclose this area, but you have got this sunroof, which obviously tilts open to bring in sunshine and ventilation if you need it. And then on a date like this you have it closed, but it's glass, so you still get the natural light coming down. As standard, it's just fixed glass. The sunroof is an option. And there are a couple of options in terms of the layout as well. This has clearly got the table here, but you can have a bar with stools that faces the front end of the saloon, and that window as an option drops down, so then it connects really nicely to the galley. We'll probably see that better when we head inside. This is very similar to the Infynito 90, this nice seating space that is opposite the table, but it just sort of makes this more circular. Nice socialising space up here, and just a very different use of the area. It's the same in the Infynito 90, and it works just as well at this size. Let's head to the Flybridge. The Flybridge on the Infynito 80 is very large. It extends a long way back. It's also incredibly flexible. You can do within reason pretty much what you want up here, but before you get in the comments, no, a hot tub is not an option on this model, but it makes sense to make this dedicated to sunbathing space, as they've done here with the sun lounges. There is the option to have a canopy that comes out to provide some shade. You can also enclose this area. You've got runners here, so you can run some covers down to protect it. Not forward, just here to offer some protection around the dining area. Before you get to the dining space, you've got your serveries as well, so grill over on this side, cooling space over there and down here as well, and then you're into the protection of the hardtop And it's quite nice that as well as having the formal dining arrangement, which does split open so you can move between them when you're not dining, you've got a sofa as well, so you don't have to go and sit at the table if you just want to relax in the shade up here. I think that works very nicely. And the finish is gorgeous, it really is. The teak is beautiful, stainless steel work is very, very nice. It's all very Ferretti. There's an upper helm as well, of course. And we've got a raised pilot house on this model. That's what differentiates it from the 90, which is just in front of us. But of course you've got this helm as well. It's slightly pared down in terms of what's here. You've just got the basics, a couple of screens, your throttles and your joystick. Of course that's an option, I'll talk about that downstairs. But there's a couple of helm chairs and they're nice and high, so you can lean really comfortably. You've got a great view forward over that all-season terrace, but also aft. In fact, you can just about communicate with crew down there if you did want to helm the boat from down here. But of course there's also that third docking station down in the cockpit. Let's check out the RPH now. Well, on the Infynito 90 you have a dedicated bridge deck, whereas here on the 80 they've got the raised pilot house and that Flybridge helm we've just seen. So you are elevated here. This is your internal driving position, and as you can see it's a little bit more substantial than upstairs. Bigger screens, there's 3 of them, and I would say this is probably a typical cruising layout in terms of what you'd want the screen to display. You've got your charting here, radar on that side, and engine information, but there's cameras as well, so you can check on the engine room, for example, using the cameras in this area. There are 2 engine options, MAN 1200 horsepower or MAN 1400 horsepower, and this one's got the larger one, so it'll do about 22 knots and cruise fast at 17 knots, so you've got a range of about 350 nautical miles. But interestingly, if you drop it down to 11 knots, you're looking at 1,000 nautical miles of range. It's got a similar fast displacement hull to the Infynito 90, so it's designed for that slower cruising speed, not like the Princess X80 or the Sunseeker Ocean 156. It's a slower cruising machine designed to be efficient at those speeds, and to supplement that, you've got Sleipner stabilisers as well, fin stabilisers, but as an option, you can have a Seakeeper too, so proper belt and braces stuff. There's also the option to have the joystick, so that combines the thrusters and the props when you're slow speed manoeuvring. That's an option, otherwise you've got the twin throttles and the thrusters. But yeah, this is, raised pilot house at this side can often be a little bit compromised, and it has got a shallow windscreen, but with this adjustable seat, the ability to stand, you can get pretty comfortable and you've got a decent view forward. Let's check out the rest of the interior. So of course the pilot house connects down to the main deck just forward of amidships, and then one of the standout features on the Infynito 80 is that the galley is right forward and connects that all-season terrace that we saw earlier. This is where the drop-down window is great, especially if you've got the bar formation out there, because some people can drop to the bar, you can drop this window and you can interact with them from the galley. The galley's a reasonable size. It's got cooling space up here as well as this big domestic sized fridge over there. Obviously cooking is behind me. But what it doesn't have is that sense of openness that you get on the 90. When you walk in through this door on the 90, this access door, which is actually very similar, it's very open, you have this amazing vista, but because of the RPH, you've just got this big block here, the helm's above, so you don't quite get the same effect. As you move aft, you have the day head here. That's a very nice space and a massive window as well. Make sure you've got the blind down when you're in there. And then here you have storage for some of the crockery. There's a little more aft, which I'll show you. Of course, there's plenty of storage in the galley, but they have put some of this stuff near the dining table, which makes sense. This is where the crew are going to be laying the table, so having that stuff close by is useful. This stairway is down to the accommodation, which we're going to look at in a moment. We'll just pause here for a moment because obviously this is your main internal living space, and it's the usual split, dining forward, lovely relaxing sofa area here. Again, it's rather flexible like the deck spaces, so if you want different positions, different furniture, you can do that. You can have a fixed TV, but as an option you have this TV that drops down from the ceiling. Again, that's quite nice. It means these guys here can't watch it, but it does tuck it right out the way when it's not in use. And I mentioned some other storage for crockery and things like that. All of your cutlery, your espresso cups, coffee mugs, saucers is all down here. Everything in individual fiddles. Looks really very nice. Let's go and have a look at that accommodation now. It's a 4-cabin, 4-bathroom arrangement on the lower deck of the Infynito 80, and we're going to start with the guest cabins. Heading forward on the port side, you have the first, which is a double. It's nice to have a double bed, but of course the person on the inside is trapped in by the person on the outside, so they have to clamber over them if they need to get out in the middle of the night. But they have got their private bathroom to go to, and the bathroom finish is really nice without black marble, which contrasts really nicely to this lighter oak that they've used on the doors. On the opposite side, the next guest cabin, this looks like storage, but it's not. These are just fixed panels with mirrors in. And to starboard we have the twin. It's nice actually, you can walk between the beds. It's comfortable to do that. Some nice detailing as well I like the work they've done here on the bedside table. You've got switches here for both blinds and blackout blinds, so you can get these nice and dark in the evening. Big hanging storage over here with a TV mounted on the wall. There's not storage underneath this bed, but strangely there is underneath this bed. So you've got some here, and of course it's private bathroom. And then if we continue our journey forward, right in the bow you have the VIP cabin. And this is your primary guest cabin. As you walk on the port hand side, you have the private ensuite. Actually, it goes back quite a long way, so you've got a nice separate shower cubicle in there. Big bed, of course, and there are steps either side, so it's easy to get into. And there's some lovely detailing here. I like the use of green they've got up by the bed head on the long side, and you've got these little lips as well. So if you do put things like the TV control down there, it's not going to slide off when the boat's out at sea. Hang storage on both sides. Downsides. It has got an escape hatch, but it's not got a skylight, and it's got very small portholes on either side, so you're relying heavily on the artificial light. Of course, the upside is, at night, it's going to be very dark, so you should sleep quite well. Let's head to the owner's cabin. Here we are then, amidships in the owner's cabin. The first thing you notice is look at the gauge of this door. It feels so solid and tactile, and there's no catch, it's just a magnet, and it clunks shut very satisfyingly. Storage is very good as well. You've got identical, really big lit hanging lockers on either side, and this is a nice little storage solution as well. Over here, this floor to ceiling section is purely somewhere where you can store your shoes, so they're all tucked out the way neatly. This is a funny little area where you can put ornaments, picture frames, I'm not sure, belts, jewellery I suppose you could put in there, but it's quite a nice little detail with this curved smoked glass section. Lots of floor space in here as well. You can get a sense of how good the headroom is. Lovely big bed, and that same sort of colour scheme as we've seen elsewhere, which I think looks really nice and fresh. There are big hull windows in here. Major benefit on the starboard side, because obviously we've got the bathroom over here to port. And worth noting as well, you've got your television mounted into a mirror up here. But I like this side. It looks really nice, very architectural. This lovely glass that they use, it's quite San Lorenzo-esque, whisper it, but it does remind me of that. And then different marble in here to the rest of the bathrooms just marks out the owner's bathroom a bit, but you've got separate cubicles, so you've got your toilet and bidet on that side, shower on that side. It's a very luxurious space. Let's head to the crew cabin. So it's down a rather steep ladder into the crew area. There's no crew mess as such, but there are two cabins down here, a single behind me, and there's a twin over on that side. Screen up here, navigation screen, and also you've got the boat's systems in here as well, so they can control everything from down here. Washer dryer is over here, of course, and they've got a private bathroom over on this side. And crucially, as well as the deck hatch in the cockpit down to the engine room, there's access to a watertight door just here. Into what is quite a serious machinery space then. Engines obviously are the main focal point, really good amount of space between them. You can see headroom is decent as well. And I mentioned that access to the cockpit. That's what that ladder is, hatch above my head, and you're out onto the main deck. And you probably see all this paraphernalia behind us. I haven't mentioned yet that this boat has got solar panels fitted onto the hardtop and a big battery bank, so you can run the hotel load without having to run the generators all the time. And all of that pipework back there in those tanks, that is fire suppression. So if there's an issue with the batteries, that just dumps a load of water to hopefully extinguish a fire if that is to happen. Elsewhere, you've got generators on both sides. I mentioned the stabilisers, fins are standard. You can have a seakeeper down here as well if you want to have both methods of stabilisation. It's got a water maker down here as an option on the starboard side. Considering the amount of equipment that's in here, certainly in terms of engine checks, it's really pretty easy to move around and work on things. There you go then, that is the Infynito 80, a tour at least. We are hoping to sea trial it in the near future, so subscribe now to make sure you don't miss that. And this sector is really hotting up. There's lots of brands targeting this type of crossover boat at this size. Obviously it offers something quite different to a traditional Flybridge or a sports cruiser, and I'd be interested to know what you'd go for if you were in the market for something like this. This, the Princess X80, or the new Sunseeker Ocean 156. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching that tour of the Infynito 80. If you enjoyed it, please give the video a like. And I've mentioned its big sister, the Infynito 90, a few times. We've got a sea trial of that. I'll put that up there. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do that by clicking up here. Thanks again for watching. I'm Jack Haines. This is YachtBuyer.